Hello people and welcome back to my channel Alive to Tell a Tale. My name is Sharmishta and today I am back with another video. All this while, whatever videos I've been making for this channel has always been very Ireland specific. Because I was living there and studying there, so most of the questions I would always receive from students was very Ireland specific. Now this channel has turned one, meaning my life from the past 1 year has been revolving around all the students who aspire to study abroad. There are so many students who have showed faith in me and have made decisions depending upon the information that I've been putting up on this channel. So many students have had so many questions in terms of studying abroad, and they always reach out to me. This is a lot of personal information where they're revealing their grades and what they want to do in life and things like that. So I know that there is no scope for a lot of engagement on my YouTube comment section, which is sad, but I'm so happy that a lot of students reach out to me on Instagram. They write long messages asking for their questions, and I respond back to them, and hopefully I've been able to solve a lot of problems. Now that I've moved back to India, the questions have slightly turned around to other countries also. Like, I get so many students asking me questions like, if I was given a chance now, would I go back to Ireland or would I pick another country? Would I go to Canada, or would I choose UK over Ireland at this point in life? There are certain people who ask me, would I do my undergraduation instead of masters abroad? Would that make any difference to my decision? And questions like that. This makes me think that I have hardly scratched the surface in terms of catering to students who also want to go to other countries. There are so many people who are looking for such perspectives without having the pressure of paying thousands and thousands to bigger consultancies, like basically looking for information that is freely available online. So here I am trying to cater to another problem. I think I have already put out a lot of sources out there in terms of helping students. Now, for all those people who don't know, I have tried to cater to certain problems through my channel. The number one and the biggest being consultation. More than, I think, 200 to 300 people have reached out to me and are going through my channel, approaching the whole process of going abroad. If anybody who's watching this channel for the first time, guys, there's a link in the description. Go fill the form and somebody from my team will get in touch with you and will help you end to end. Choosing the course, the university, to applying for the visa, and then taking off. End to end will be looked after. We are a very small team. There are times when we kind of end up delaying contacting students, but we're getting there, and I know for a fact that there are so many students who are going abroad, who are going to Ireland through this channel, this September intake. And this is not just restricted to Ireland. If you're planning to go to Canada, UK, Australia, any country, you name it, if you're aspiring to go there, then I will help you. Please go and fill the form in the description below. The second one is in terms of accommodation. I always suggest that booking an accommodation from India on Daft or Rent.ie is a very bad idea. You might become a scapegoat to all the scams happening there. So it's ideal that you go there and book your accommodation. But now, given the situation of the pandemic, Ireland has made it a rule that you have to book your accommodation and only then you can travel to that country. So the best way to solve this problem is to book an accommodation which is reliable, student friendly, and in terms of any changes in plan will refund you your money. And for this, I have another link in the description below, an accommodation link. Click on that, book yourself an accommodation, and then go. The third problem that I have tried to solve is if anybody in India, like your family, is trying to send you money in whichever country you are, then there's a referral link of TransferWise. Use the link in the description and go and download the app and then make your transfers. And if anybody is in Ireland and wants to send somebody money to India, then I also have a referral link for Revolut. So please click on the link, download the app, and then do your transfers. Now, after catering to all these problems, I am going to go another step ahead, and I am going to talk about study abroad in general, not Ireland specific, but for other countries also. So you can consider this as a beginning of a new series. Today I will talk more about what does one student initially need to even be able to consider themselves eligible to go abroad and study. After that, we will go on by talking more about each country in a separate video. So let's get started. Okay, so the first and the most important point is your academic scores. Academic scores are very important, not in terms of how it is important in India. ऐसा नहीं है कि कम मार्क्स आया तो यहाँ पे कहीं कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. It's not like that. In foreign countries, I would always suggest that if you're doing this all by yourself, then this is for those people, okay? Because if you're doing this through a consultancy, then you don't have the headache of shortlisting and all of that. They'll give you professional advice as to what you're eligible for and what you can apply for. So for all those people who are going to do this all by themselves, every country, every university and every course has their own eligibility criteria. Say you have a certain percentage, your GPA in your high school. Go to a particular university's website that you're interested in and the course, and go and see what their eligibility criteria is, and then check for yourself if you're matching and falling in that bracket, and then apply. If you think that by any chance you are not going to fit in their criteria, try and make it up to the scores, as in terms of doing extra courses, certain internships, fill it up with your work experience. And I think every student will find where they fit in. So I'm telling you that if you get rejected by one or two places, don't give up so easily. Find the right university that allows students of your scores to go and study with them. The second and the most important is financial situation. Now there are different categories of people who want to study abroad. Somebody can be a recent undergraduate, somebody can be a working professional, somebody studied and worked for a bit and is going to be sponsored by their family, somebody who's worked for a bit, has some savings but also needs the support of a bank loan. There are so many categories of financial statuses that have to be looked after. So when somebody's applying for a visa, most people get rejected for one major reason: that they haven't provided enough financial documents that can prove that either the bank or your family or your savings can back you for as long as the course lasts. So say my master's in marketing course was for 1 year. So I had to prove to the visa guys that whatever savings or whatever documents I'm showing, this money is sufficient to help me sustain for that 1 year. After that, it's assumed that you get a part-time job or a job and then you will survive on yourself. But for as long as the course lasts, nobody is expecting you to work there. So even if you get a job or no, they should be sure that you're not going to die. Like, you are going to have money coming in every month. This has to be looked at from a budgetary standpoint. Like, how much money do you need? How are you going to sort it out? How are you going to sponsor yourself in the first place? How much money is required in total? Fees, living expenses, khana, pina, sona, all of this milake, how much do you need in the first place? And to back that, what all financial documents are you going to put together? There are so many students who come to me asking ki, I'm taking a bank loan and what should I do about it? Will I get a part-time as soon as I get there? Will my visa get rejected if they think that I'm not going to be having enough money? So first of all, your visa will get rejected in case you don't have enough backed documents saying that they will be able to sponsor you for like 1 year or so. One big tip I would like to give you is don't go just by the goodwill of a bank. Go to multiple banks, research who is giving you a loan at the lowest interest rate. There are so many banks who will not want you to start paying the loan back until your entire course is over. Only till then you only have to pay the interest rate. And there are so many banks who don't start bugging you as soon as your course is over. Come on, pay back the whole thing. There are banks that give you enough time to find a job and then start earning and then sending back money to the bank to clear the loan. So I would say that picking the right bank is one big tip I can give you. Third, confidence and ambition. Now this might sound like a philosophy, but go for it only when you're sure that you're ready for it. Don't go by the pressure of family. Don't go by the pressure of peers ki sab foreign chale ja rahe hain, I am sitting here. No, if you're sitting here in India, then might as well gain enough number of work experience so that when you finish your masters later in life, you can get a job just like that. Without work experience, getting a job abroad is very, very hard. So if people have rushed, let them rush. Only and only go for this when you think you're ready. Also, another aspect of this is when you go there, you're going to have like a class with diversity. There are going to be executive level professionals, there are going to be extreme freshers, there are going to be people with intermediate level of experience, and you should not be feeling like I'm under a rock. You should be confident. Everybody has their own skills in their own ways. Focus on what your classroom experience is, focus on what people are teaching you, focus on building that what do you call, knowledge bubble, if I may say. Pick up whatever you can that could probably be used after you're out of the college, that could be used when you are into a professional work environment. The ultimate goal is to be able to get the return on investment. Whatever you're investing, it's important that you get it all back, be it through a part-time job or a full-time job. So focus on that, be confident, just stay, be in the moment and sink everything in. Fourth point is work experience. Now I keep telling this again and again and again. I got so many questions when I was doing a Q&A on Instagram, where people were asking, I have 1 year experience, is that enough to do this course? 2 year experience. But I stand by the rule, I swear by this, that if you do not have more than 3 years of experience, then going abroad, specifically going Ireland and studying, is a bad idea. Just stay here, hold your horses, work some more, get some more experience and then go. Work experience is everything. Ireland specific, I think I have spoken about it a lot in my previous videos, that it's a very, very skill based market. The chances of somebody considering you when you are applying for a job, if you don't have experience, why will somebody pick you over somebody who has experience? So keep it in mind that always gather skills, gather work experience, be it for any country in the world. I think it's always going to give you an upper hand if you have more than 3 years of experience. So if your ambition is to go abroad, study and then settle there forever and not come back, then work experience is the key. Just have some more patience. If you haven't completed 3 to 4 years or 5 years, then stay, finish it and then go. Then I'm sure that there's no looking back. And when I say this, I don't mean that people who do not have a work experience haven't gotten a job. Everybody with no work experience has come back. No, I just feel that it's not worth taking that chance. I think people who get it in the first go are very, very lucky. Luck also plays a very big role. And I personally wouldn't take that chance. So I made that mistake, which is why I keep telling everybody else not to do that. Now the last and the most important point is skills. Ireland, like I said, is a very, skill-based market. But speaking of that, I don't think any other country in the whole world is not a skill-based market. So as far as your course is concerned and your ambition is concerned, make a list of things that, these job descriptions have, or you've heard people say that if you have this skill, then getting a job is not difficult. Make a list of all those skills, take a LinkedIn Premium or use tools like HubSpot or Skillshare and just finish courses and get certified. Add all of those certifications to your LinkedIn profiles, add all of those certifications to your resumes, and I think life after masters would be a cakewalk. So that is all for today, guys. Like I said, consider this as the beginning of a new series. Starting from the next video, I think I will most probably be talking about education in UK. I hope you guys give that a watch too. I'm going to do enough research and put all the information out there for you. So please encourage the channel. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. Allowed to tell a tale. Until next time, see you. Bye-bye.
Starving in the schools, starving for attention, killing to be cool cause we're just dying for affection. Starving in the streets,